So, the return of RTD, David Tennant and Catherine Tate has finally rolled around and it has gotten me very emotional. The late great Steve Harwell was right to famously proclaim, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. It was very surreal to hear Don Noble's voice again and say that the events of the Series 4 finale was 15 years ago. It was very weird to think that the 50th anniversary, the Day of the Doctor, a special I was achingly excited for at the time, was 10 years old this past week. And it's crazy to me to think that in January, Full Fat Videos itself will be 6 years old. My first Doctor Who video was all about Stephen Moffat and the Daleks, and that was less than a month post his era and well before the first ever Chibnall era episode. As a lifelong fan of Doctor Who, it's been crazy to make videos on the show over the years and engage with other fans and dissect my favourite episodes, things I've been critical of, and so much more. I mean hell, it was over 2 years ago that I even made a video on RTD getting announced as the next showrunner. It is unbelievable how quickly everything has moved. I was in my early 20s when I started making these, and it's really quite odd to have this back catalogue of opinions etched in stone for a subject matter rooted in art that really ebbs and flows as you change. We really are different people all throughout our lives, but I can track it week by week for the past 6 years, and some of those Who opinions are things I've shared with thousands and thousands of people. If you go back and watch Full Fat from the beginning, you'll know I gave the Chibnall era a fair shake, but over time it became clear to me that he was taking the show in a direction that I did not enjoy, and I know from many of you watching the videos over the years that it was a shared sentiment. So there was an awful lot riding on the series of specials for the 60th anniversary. This could, in essence, be the end of Who. The Rise of Skywalker was where my enraptured sense of love for Star Wars ended. That's not to say I haven't enjoyed things from that world since, but even the stuff I have loved hasn't reached the same fever pitch of enjoyment I once had, and I really made peace with that after Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I realised that it's very much okay. I definitely think with franchises, everybody will have their time with them, where that was your era. I could still get giddy talking about the first 6 episodes of Star Wars, through from 1977 to 2015, maybe a little bit more, and that will never change. But you won't find me as ready to gush about 1,000,001 streaming shows, and I'm not really excited for what comes next. When it came to the return of Doctor Who, I was primed and ready to say that if I didn't enjoy this new era, then it's fine for my time on the show to have been that of the 2000s to 2010s golden age, and other people can love this series the way I once did. I have not been as achingly excited as I once was for Doctor Who for the 50th, and that's not to say it seems like the quality has worsened for this new era, but I'm very happy to say that whilst the new episode didn't exactly blow me away, I very much enjoyed it. There's loads of things I liked with only a few minor nitpicks, and whilst it felt more of a series opener than an anniversary special, it's safe to say I felt some Doctor Who magic for the first time in a very, very long time. I'm looking forward to Shooty's new series next year, and I'm excited to be able to talk about brand new Doctor Who on this channel, since quite possibly Full Fat Year 1. What did you think? Did you enjoy the Star Beast? Has RTD still got the magic? What did you think of the not so 10th Doctor? Let me know in the comments below. Full spoilers for the Star Beast.
Don't say it. Allons-y! Come on!
RTD has ushered in a bright new age for Who, with a clever special that is both an excellent jumping on point for new fans, as well as being a sequel story to his first era. It zeroes in on what has been missing for me: good characterisation, heart, and a proper sense of fun and adventure. I was surprised that these specials are mostly self-contained, as the trailers implied one big story of the Toymaker in the driving seat. Whilst it makes me a little sad we're getting less of Neil Patrick Harris's celestial villain, I liked that we had a relatively low-stakes villain in Beep the Meep, which really allowed the first special to focus on the Noble family and the Dr. Donna storyline coming to a conclusion. I really don't mind B-list villains taking an anniversary spot anyway. It was charming making the focus of the 50th the Zygons, and it's charming making Beep the Meep the focus here.
We could sell Mad Paddington for £1 million.
Oh, no.
On that note, I love this creature. It's just hilariously entertaining to give us something so achingly cute.
Oh, wow, so cute.
For giving us an absolute bastard villain. The design of the character becoming so vile just from a change in expression and performance is neat, and I enjoyed the blend of practical and CG to bring them to life. Miriam Margoyles crushed it, and I would happily see RTD utilise the Meep again.
With this.
I still can't get over Dave Gibbons of Watchmen fame was responsible for sketching this creation to life. They should have gotten Zack Snyder to direct this episode. But no, seriously, I wouldn't have anyone other than the brilliant Rachel Talalay on this. Her return to the series is as exciting for me as anyone on the main cast. I can't tell you how relieving it is to see Doctor Who embrace wide shots again. I could actually see what was going on. More than that, the action was great. Also, big props to Murray Gold. I loved all the callbacks in the score, including I Am the Doctor. Mwah, still just so good. I banged on about nostalgia stories like No Way Home not utilising music enough. This is what I was after. The music is more effective than doing dialogue callbacks every single time. The 14th Doctor is here. I knew this was going to be a good idea. David Tennant could definitely come back as a regeneration after Jodie Whittaker if the Doctor of the Future, aka the Curator, took on Tom Baker's face for sentimental reasons. Then what if David Tennant's face is adopted by this 14th incarnation for a darker purpose? What if he's given this face against his will for a reason that is bestowed upon him by someone else? Like the Ood or the Sisterhood of Khan or even the Time Lords could maybe say to him something like, there's something you did as that face that you have never paid for and it remains undone and the resolution of it can only be seen through those tired eyes. Hearing him talk about Smith, Capaldi and Whittaker and firmly establish that he is a Doctor that's far older and wiser than 10 was satisfying. Not least because he had the perfect balance of evoking that old face whilst feeling like a post 11, 12, 13 Doctor. He's not carrying that Time War angst, he's way more forthcoming with his feelings, and overall I really enjoyed this final form version of the original Time Lord we knew from the 2000s. It's funny that there was such a hoo-ha about seeing the Doctor take a previous face, when in practice I feel like it barely matters. Of course we're likely to get more context, but I don't especially care now that it's established. It felt like more mental gymnastics were needed at the time to justify Capaldi taking the face of Caecilius, to be honest. It's also really awesome to think that the 50th was a prelude to what eventually would happen a decade later, almost to the day.
And in years to come you might find yourself revisiting a few, but just the old favourites, eh?
Plus, what a costume. I love that it's evocative of 10 but with new colours, fits and materials. 14 looks great in the waistcoat, the tartan pattern suits him. I think you could play into this by giving him a slightly different look. You don't really need to do much to him and he could just walk on and you'd be like, yep, that's the Doctor. Maybe he could get a different shade of his old suit and Converse. And the blue coat is a welcome update. The new Sonic is a contender for my favourite of all time. Of course, it being able to topple the 11th Doctor's clearly the goated Sonic is a bit of a cheat considering how heavily it draws from that design, but it is a very satisfying meld of a few different eras. Perfect for the 60th, but it's more than just aesthetically pleasing. I loved seeing 14 drop holograms and hard light shields. It makes sense that the Sonic can do these things, especially in the case of the shields to protect people, and I hope we get more variations on this with Shooty. Could the Doctor make a bridge with these constructs flat on the ground? What other functions does it have? Also extra points for finally resonating concrete. Donna Noble was on great form. Catherine Tate, much like Tennant, hasn't lost a step. It was really wonderful seeing her with the same face. Seriously, Tate has barely aged a day, whilst carrying the extra years of being a mother to Rose. Having her question the Doctor and his alien ways didn't feel like backtracking, and only made the eventual crescendo to her full return all the more exciting.
Cliff Tops. Andante. Grief. Fingerprint.
Mission report. December 16, 1991.
How great was it to call back to the glass box separating Wilf and 10 with this spaceship scene? Whilst it did seem a little contrived to have 14 unleash the Dr. Donna to press a few buttons, what a Whovian couldn't delight in seeing this pair back in full force.
Donna Noble is descending.
I thought Sean and Sylvia's returns were also very entertaining, with the Noble family getting some of the funniest lines in the whole special.
Something smells nice.
Tuna Madras.
Rose is the new addition to Team Noble, and I thought she fit in perfectly. The mother-daughter relationship between her and Donna felt very real, which is a testament to how RTD writes working people with authenticity, and was always one of his previous era's greatest strengths.
I would burn down the world for you, darling. Anyone has a go, I will be there, and I will descend.
Having Rose be the reason the meta-crisis didn't spell doom was also a sweet way of circumventing a 15-year-old problem. Donna would defend Rose to the ends of the earth, and Rose has been saving her life this whole time. Now she can keep her memories, her family, her daughter, and her Doctor. Overall, I think the introduction of a trans character on the show was handled eloquently, and Doctor Who has returned to its historic left-wing roots over, say, Shilling for Space Amazon, or doing this.
Now they'll see the real you. Good luck.
Still kinda can't believe that happened on the show, but we'll put that one to bed. It's over now.
I love that man.
The implication that Wilfred Mott had passed away brought me to the verge of tears, not least because he is one of my favourite Doctor Who characters ever, but because we of course lost Bernard Cribbins last year. It wasn't clear whether he was going to be included in the specials, or if his part had been scrapped due to his passing, which occurred during the production, but my what a relief it was to hear that we will likely see him at least one more time as the character. The new TARDIS interior is awesome. I love that they just had to go as big as humanly possible, to the point where there was no shame having the Doctor sprint around the structure. It is insane, and having all of those lights that can change colour and be independently controlled by the production is nothing short of jaw-dropping. I personally really love the aesthetic of a white TARDIS, harkening back to classic, but in keeping with the multi-story construction of the Moffat era. I also think thematically, it makes so much sense. The last time we saw the Doctor and Donna in the TARDIS, it was a grimy post-war aesthetic, and things were in a dark place. Here, things are looking brighter and grander than ever, and the pair are reunited and can just be. Hearing the Doctor saying it killed him to lose Donna really hit home.
I'm so glad you're back, because it killed me, Donna. It killed me, it killed me, it killed me.
What's crazy is that the original Series 4 ending was just that, an ending. We got a satisfying coda with Will from the end of time, but there was nothing to suggest we would ever return to the Nobles. That was the status quo for 15 years, and I think it's only because of that weight and acceptance in real time that this reversal works. In the 50th, the destruction of Gallifrey was reversed, but dare I say the reversal of Donna's fate hits so much more because we, the audience, really did have to be there on that horrible day, and we spent all that time never truly thinking there could ever be a silver lining. It feels so right for there to be a conclusion to Journey's End, and now in hindsight, it feels like this was always where it should have gone. Really, my only gripe with this story is that having it feel more like a series opener than an anniversary special is making me lament the fact that we've only got 14 and Donna very briefly. It makes sense that it's gone this way considering the changing of the guard coming on the 60th year, but it is strange to watch an episode that could be the start to a 13 episode series run in the 2000s. This is only exacerbated by the next time for Wild Blue Yonder, which feels like a standard Dr. Donna adventure. I'm still hyped for the coming of 15 and Ruby Sunday, but damn, seeing this old TARDIS team is a little bittersweet. The only thing I could actually genuinely say that I hated about this special is unfortunately something that's going to be sticking around, and that is the title sequence. I really don't understand why ever since post the original RTD era we've never really had an opening sequence that truly slaps like it used to in 2005 to 2010. I really thought RTD would bring it back in style, but I just think it was awkward. I don't like the cuts. I actually don't think it timed up to the theme very well, which is odd because I really like that new theme, but no, the opening intro did not get me very hyped, and I think it's a shame because it's going to be around for a while. We're going to see a lot more of that. Not a fan. I don't mind if we don't get other Doctors for these 60th stories, but I'm also not unconvinced something isn't afoot with this special regeneration. I feel like we'd be more likely to see the Toymaker force the Doctor to cycle through a load of faces during some sort of reality warping scene in the final episode, rather than us getting anything multi-Doctor. In terms of Wild Blue Yonder, a real anniversary present, we'll be getting the next Midnight, the next Turn Left, the next Heaven Sent. We'll see.
We go and kick its ass!
A big thank you to my full fat tier patron, Dr. Chike, and Nathan Shaw. If you'd like to donate money to my Patreon, you can find me at patreon.com/fullfatvideos. If you'd like to find me on Instagram, you can find me at full_fat_videos. And if you'd like to find me on Twitter, you can find me at fullfatvideos.